Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. In today's lesson, we will be learning about alternate interior angles. Make sure you are taking good notes on whatever you feel hesitant about, and hopefully this video will clear up a few things. Let's get started. First in our agenda is a recap about what we've learned in the past lessons in the series by identifying the types of angles in these two diagrams. Pause the video and answer these questions. Okay, here are the answers. Hopefully you got these right. If not, I'd strongly recommend looking back at either your notes or at the past lessons. All right, let's start with today's learning target. These are alternate interior angles. As they always say, it's a great idea to jot a diagram like this one into your notes to refer back to if you need. We have our two parallel lines right here, and our transversal. Hopefully you know that pretty well by now. The alternate interior angles are sort of located inside the transversal, if that makes sense. You can see pairs 3 and 6 and pairs 4 and 5 are congruent. I think you should try one now. Here we have a transversal, and I want you to list out all the pairs of alternate interior angles. Pause the video and try it out. Okay, here are the answers. Did you get it? Now, I know we've already done an example, but I want to show you another, maybe a little trickier one. Let's take a look at this diagram. These types of problems always confused me when I was learning these concepts, because it's kind of hard to visualize that a transversal sort of lives in the shape. Here we have a parallelogram with a line diagonally cutting it and creating two angles. One property of a parallelogram is that opposite sides are parallel. If you ever forget this, just look at the word itself. It has the word parallel embedded right in it. So where am I going with this? Well, you see, if you were to extend those lines in a separate drawing like this, they would still be parallel, and we can draw those two parallel lines. And then we could redraw that transversal and extend that too. And if you're wondering where that parallelogram went, we could just draw like a little phantom parallelogram here. And all of a sudden you have these two angles. And those angles highlighted in orange, they're alternate interior angles. I hope you can notice it's easier to see that these angles, they are in the parallelogram. Sometimes you just need to redraw the transversal to sort of visualize it. Now, I haven't covered many real-life applications in these videos. So here we have what structural engineers called a Pratt truss. These types of trusses are mainly used for construction of rail bridges. They are made by placing two parallel pieces of metal and supporting them with diagonally placed beams inside. However, such pieces of metal need to be put together at very specific angles, which is where alternate interior angles come into place. All those orange-colored angles are congruent so that the pieces of metal are equally balanced on the two parallel metal beams. This is very similar to the parallelogram problem we reviewed right before this one, except this is on a much bigger scale when it's built. Okay, let's talk about the converse of this theorem. Just remember, a converse is the opposite of what a theorem states. Hopefully you know that pretty well by now. The original theorem says, if two parallel lines are cut by a transversal, then the pairs of alternate interior angles are congruent. By flipping the subjects, the converse would say, if two coplanar lines are cut by a transversal so that a pair of alternate interior angles are congruent, then the two lines are parallel. If you want a diagram, if you have two alternate interior angles, then the lines are parallel. So in this diagram, angles 1 and 2 are congruent, and we need to prove the lines L and M are parallel. The converse of the alternate interior angles theorem says that since 1 and 2 are congruent, we know that L and M have to be parallel. hope you learned something new or reviewed on something old during the course of this video. As I mentioned before, this is just one video in a series where we discuss different angles you will see in transversals. Until then, make sure you write down some of these vocab words and their definitions to reference for later. Thank you so much for watching this video. To get more content like this, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. And if you perhaps enjoyed it, please give this video a thumbs up and share it so we can help even more people. It really helps our channel grow. Until next time!